here with another stream, and we're going to talk about why it is in the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse. We're now talking about the hashtag Dead Deathstroke HBO Max. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about this. First and foremost, uh, Blade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, is known in the comics as an adversary to Batman as well as Teen Titans and a worthy adversary. We've seen him in the Arkham games fighting against Batman, and he is just as skilled as Batman. He has been trained from the same background, the League of Assassins or the League of Shadows. Ra's al Ghul was associated with both guys. So, based on that, we have never seen Blade Wilson in live action until the Snyder Cut. Well, actually, a little bit before. We saw him sort of in a cameo in a post-credit scene with Jesse Eisenberg in the theatrical version of Justice League. But we just try to forget that one. But he also showed up much more in the Snyder Cut in the post-apocalyptic scene as well. And this one required additional photography. In fact, all of the scenes to the end of, in the epilogue of Zack Snyder's Justice League, actually, not all of them, sorry, but most of them after the whole Cyborg and Superman and the Flash running, right after they wrap up all the heroes and how what's going on with them after having conquered Steppenwolf, we go into what is the extras, right? And again, the scene with Blade Wilson and with Lex Luthor, that was always there. So everything after that, after Blade Wilson and Lex Luthor interaction, is additional photography. That was put at the end of Justice League. So everything up to that point, if you wanted to say what was going to be the original movie would be up to that point that you just saw there. Okay. Now, with respect to Blade Wilson and Joe Manganiello wanting to see this character here, and that's why we have the hashtag Deathstroke HBO. Okay, is because actually that scene with Lex Luthor was supposed to set up the Batman with Ben Affleck directing the Batman, and Ben Affleck's Batman, or Bruce Wayne, was supposed to go up against Slade Wilson's Deathstroke, and Slade Wilson would have known who Batman was. So let's get into that, and let's talk about why that was important. Okay, first of all, that was on the cards, and then after that, it was squashed when Ben Affleck he ended up leaving the project, The Batman. They said it's for reasons where he was going back into his addiction, but really and truly, it was because Geoff Johns had rolled into the scene and was trying to put pressure on Ben Affleck to change up his movie. As we now know, Geoff Johns has been screwing around with movie makers and directors when he should just be a consultant, advising things in the comics. He really overstepped his bounds. Of course, he was DC Films head for a while, along with John Berg. But these guys really took it and really, it is what it is. So anyway, so after Ben Affleck left the project, actually Warner Brothers promised, or Joe Manganiello pitched his Deathstroke still, because Deathstroke's a hot item. I mean, everybody wanted to see Deathstroke on the screen. It's particularly Deathstroke in action. Not just talking. We haven't seen Deathstroke in action yet. Anyway, so Deathstroke, who, as we know in the comics and also in the animated version, sometimes he's been on the right side of fighting for good things, and then sometimes he's been a villain. But what instead ended up happening was Joe Manganiello was pushing for a Deathstroke solo movie, an origin film of Deathstroke. And then he got the Raid, Garrett Evans, to direct this movie. He was, convinced Garrett Evans. And basically, what Garrett Evans was going to do is a film noir, a sort of South Korean style film noir, and gritty, aggressive sort of film based on Deathstroke's origins from the League of Assassins with Ra's al Ghul, and it would have been a $40 million origin story, and it would have lasted about an hour to about an hour and 40 minutes to hour and 50 minutes, just under 2 hours. And it's sort of like, I guess, a movie like The Joker. It would have been very intriguing, original, and different. And Garrett Evans has never even talked about the details of it. He's keeping that close to his chest. But suffice it to say, Warner Brothers dropped that idea in 2017. So Joe Manganiello still would like to do that solo film in prep for introducing Deathstroke into the equation and who Deathstroke is properly on the movie screen. And so this is why we have the hashtag Deathstroke HBO, because HBO Max is known for that kind of programming. You look at HBO Max's programming, and that's the kind of thing it does. What's interesting, though, is which may come first, we don't know. It could be that we get Ben Affleck's Batman as a series or as a movie. I would prefer it as a movie with Deathstroke in it. And in that movie, it was supposed to be Deathstroke. Of course, Batgirl was supposed to be in there. It was supposed to take place in Arkham Asylum. And Deathstroke was basically trying to break down. Shout out to Leroy Kong. What's up, Leroy? Leroy Kong in the building. Yeah, it was supposed to, talk about how Deathstroke was, now that he knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman, he was going to now try and undermine Bruce Wayne and really hurt anybody that was close to him. And amazingly, this is, of course, before BVS that this is happening. And unfortunately, this didn't come to pass, but there was supposed to be some epic scenes and epic battles in this thing in which Batgirl was actually supposed to intervene to try to help Bruce Wayne, because Deathstroke, not only did he know everything about Bruce Wayne, but now tactically he was able to beat Bruce Wayne. He was able to press the right buttons, hurt him in certain ways financially and with people around him and in key positions. He was able to sabotage him because Bruce Wayne didn't know that Slade Wilson was doing this, And all of this was because, according to Joe Manganiello, Bruce Wayne, or Batman, had something to do with Slade Wilson's son's death, and he blamed Batman for his son dying. Pretty much like how Superman would blame Batman for Lois Lane dying, And so, yeah, Leroy, we know the Snyderverse needs to continue. That's a given. But today is, if you've been on Twitter, we're doing the hashtag Deathstroke HBO. So you can use the hashtag Restore the Snyderverse, but particularly today, we're focused on Deathstroke. So Joe Manganiello also, it's trending, by the way, on Twitter, but also you can put the hashtag just about everywhere. And you can see I have the hashtag right now on YouTube. Don't forget to smash the like button. If you were here watching, please smash the like button. That would help a lot to bring visibility to this video so that we can continue our cause that we're doing here, which is to promote Deathstroke today. Hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max. So if you're watching this video and you identify with what I'm doing, and also, could you please put in the comment section below or in the chat area, hashtag Restore the Snyderverse, hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max. Please do that. That goes a long way as well. And if you can, when you watch other videos, please use that hashtag Restore the Snyderverse, hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max. Make it a modus operandi. I'll tell you guys when the next event comes through that we have to do using this campaign with the hashtag campaign. For those of you who are enjoying the Snyderverse and you really love the Snyder Cut, this weekend, watch the crap out of it, because I can guarantee you that the meeting with the CEOs and with Zack Snyder is happening It maybe not over this weekend right now, but it will happen. They are going to call a meeting, and you misspelled Snyderverse though. You have SNTDERVERSE. So make sure you put hashtag restore the Snyderverse, and don't forget to put hashtag today is Deathstroke Day. Hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max. Shout out to everybody who's doing that on the feed right now, and spread the word, spread this video. I'm trying to make this video shorter. So anyway, that's the key. Now, if you just listen to the stuff, this psychological drama, horror thriller, which is what they were pitching for Batman and Deathstroke, and the origin series was going to be more of a film noir, and it was supposed to be, in the Korean style, colorful and gritty South Korean style. I'm telling you, man, that would have been a first. And so we still want to see it, and obviously we have an appetite for this stuff. The Snyderverse. Okay, so let me repeat what the Snyderverse is, okay? So people will understand. The Snyderverse involves Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. But that ain't coming out now. That has to come out in 2 years' time. So while that's happening, we need to have, the push is, of course, for David Ayer's Suicide Squad. That will come out after Suicide Squad, but we're still going to push for it now and build up an interest in the casual public and everybody in David Ayer's Suicide Squad. But today, particularly, we are focused on Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. And we're pushing mostly for his solo Deathstroke movie if he can get it. But if he can also appear in, or wherever Deathstroke appears, we just want more Deathstroke. So if he appears in the Batman movie, which Ben Affleck is definitely going to be doing, I can guarantee you that the Snyderverse is definitely moving forward. I can guarantee that as well. This is just how it's going to move forward. They're debating whether it'll be theatrically or if it'll be on HBO Max or it'll be both. It could be an experiment where they do both, and move forward with that. Obviously, there's the Hamada verse out there already, which Walter Hamada is pushing, and that has a different slant to the Snyderverse, but it really doesn't matter. I personally think that once HBO Max can put up the money and work sort of independent to the actual studio, that would be Warner Brothers Picture Studio, because there's the Warner Brothers Picture Studio arm of the thing, and then there's the streaming service, okay, HBO Max. But if the streaming service is so successful, I don't see why they can't step into the theatrical arena and put out the movie. You know what I'm saying? Because HBO Max has done that before with 2 of its movies. So it's 2 movie originals I'm talking about. So they've done it before. So I don't see why they can't do it and be very successful with the Snyder Cut 2 and 3. But with respect to the Batman movie, that's something, again, I think should be theatrical. Mind you, in the background, supporting this all the way, and this is why I think this will come through and come to pass, is Christopher Nolan's Syncope. Syncope is his production studio. And I can guarantee you, if Christopher Nolan's pushing for this, because this is Christopher Nolan's brainchild. This is Christopher Nolan's universe. A lot of people don't realize Zack Snyder's the director that was brought on into this universe, but really it was started by Christopher Nolan and David Goyer with Man of Steel. It was their conceptualized idea that brought for this universe. So a win for Zack Snyder is a win for Christopher Nolan, and he is 100% behind this. In fact, he tweeted on through Syncope, his production studio, restore the Snyderverse. So Christopher Nolan is a big mover and shaker in the background. And we all know Christopher Nolan's not really a Hollywood kind of guy. He kind of stays on the outside, but he has such great ideas that people just rave about him. So Christopher Nolan's backing this. And that's why I'm telling you guys, the Snyderverse will happen. It's just, the question is not will it happen? The question is, how will it happen? Okay? And then we got big players throughout that want the Snyderverse to continue so that they can have their thing. And one of the people is, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, I heard Matt of Lightcast again say that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doesn't really have that kind of clout. I think that's just his opinion. He's a big player in the game, and the fact that we have so many big players voicing in this game, as well as ex-CEOs of Warner Brothers putting in their say, that doesn't happen every day. That doesn't happen every day. And it's because the numbers back up Zack Snyder's Snyderverse. And even though we don't actually see the numbers, we get peripheral numbers from third parties that are not associated with Warner Brothers, I can guarantee you it's a humongous success for Jason Keeler. He's probably just licking his chops. He's not saying too much, but he's like a happy man because he realizes that they can actualize the streaming service, and streaming services are the future for all platforms. It's just what it is. So, regardless, they may be using streaming services to do theater work, to have movies in theaters very soon. That's how powerful streaming services can be. So it's really important in this streaming war that Warner Brothers gets ahead, and not Warner Brothers necessarily, but AT&T. AT&T obviously is a phone service, a communication service. So if they can make phones to match their streaming service or some sort of telecommunication that works so that, or not even phones, because that is a cost to make phones. Maybe just have their telecommunication services such that you can use it on any phone. I mean, they're going to do excellently. I mean, they don't need to make phones. They just need to keep their telecommunication service so that people want to use AT&T. So they are onto something, and Jason Keeler knows this. He's been with Hulu for a long time, and he knows how the systems work when it comes to streaming. So I really truly believe HBO Max, AT&T, they're ecstatic about this. Like Zack Snyder's Justice League is the perfect like vehicle to not only maintain a tremendous committed clientele, but also for them to really just blow the roof off of their streaming service and make several other AT&T streaming service brands really explode. So it's not no small set of kettle of fish. They want this, okay? And it's not gonna they're not gonna get turned down. They're not gonna be deterred. They'll let Warner Brothers Studios play themselves a little bit, but ultimately in the end they're gonna have their way. So this is what this hashtag is about. Hashtag Deathstroke, hashtag Deathstroke HBO Max. We need to see it happen. And what is up to us now is we have to put our input into the table. We are going to be our voices, our leverage chips for Joe Manganiello, for Zack Snyder. You see, because Warner Brothers works off of data. So this is why Restore the Snyderverse and the hashtag and the fact that the streaming numbers and just how much this movie is being streamed on HBO Max, particularly HBO Max. Stay focused on HBO Max for now. We want to look at U.S. territory, how it's doing in the U.S. Globally, that's great too, but not every single country has HBO Max right now. So they want to see what's happening in. And the other thing is to see if they're attracting customers other than just the Snyder Cut taste. Meaning, if for example, we like the Snyder Cut, but then we watch other programming and we like that programming that's on HBO Max, whether it's Godzilla versus Kong or something small, like one of their small little original series movies, then they know, okay, they're staying with us, right? Just make sure we get that Snyder Cut stuff in there. Because once they have the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, which is basically limited to HBO Max. Now, understand, Godzilla versus Kong didn't get the treatment that the Snyder Cut got. That's to tell you how much HBO Max values the Snyder Cut. They understand how important this is. So if you guys, they haven't put out any numbers or anything, but trust me, they kind of knew. Jason Keeler, John Stankley, Casey Bloys, and what is his name? It's Finn. Something Finn. I can't remember what exactly. These guys are like licking their chops because they understand. Listen, streaming services. That means no distribute. You don't have to worry too much about distributing shit. You can bypass the theater completely if you need to. And even if you need to do distribution to theaters, now you can do it digitally. So it's like fucking crazy, dude. It's like nuts. Oh man. So I mean, it calls that you're talking big money they can make off of this. The potential for this is incredible. But anyway, going back to what I'm saying. So this is why now what we as fans need to do. Now there's a couple things that must not go by the wayside. Okay, this movement is not a movement just for fans to satisfy their appetite over a movie. No, this movement is about doing good. It's about reflecting what we see on the screen into real life, and as it reflects real life onto the screen. So what I mean by this is we have charities that we must support. And we must expand those charities to global visions for charities in your respective countries. So we're looking at the Foundation for Suicide Prevention in your country, as well as the American Suicide Foundation for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We must support those bodies. Let us never forget, no matter what, how much the Snyderverse goes. We must never forget Autumn Snyder. Never forget her, okay? Because we must understand and keep grounded in the reason why we're doing what we're doing. Yes, it's entertaining, and yes, we wanted the Snyder Cut and everything, but this movement is particularly about saving lives so that we don't have to have a life lost, a beautiful life lost, like Autumn Snyder's life was lost. That's what this is about. And we must keep that in the central focus. And we must remind ourselves every single time we watch the Snyder Cut. I was crying today again, just listening to the music, Junkie XL score, and particular songs in this score. You can go to Water Tower Music and listen to it on YouTube. The quality depends on what kind of studio equipment you have, but it's still beautiful to listen to. And some of these songs are so really very, very, it's heart-wrenching to some degree. But going back to what I was saying, the whole purpose behind this movement must always keep it in the center of your mind, keep it in the back of your mind. And I attempted to commit suicide once in my life. I know what it's like as well. So I would like you guys to please, by all means, support AFSP. Find small amount. I don't care, $1, $2, $5. I don't care. Support it. Okay. I want you guys to put some of your money. I don't care if you're going to be saving a life, to it. The other thing I would like you guys to do always is to support any feeding program in your country, or any Salvation Army, or anything that does charitable work in your country to help people or animals or whatever. I want you guys to have a heart. You guys need to have some of this. I know a lot of you guys are nice, kind people, but it's about time this thing must not stop. It must not stop giving back. We must not stop being kind to others, and we must foster it. That is what the Justice League should teach us. That's what Zack Snyder should teach us. Look at Zack Snyder. He doesn't go attacking people. He doesn't go negative things and putting negativity in the atmosphere. He always tries to be positive. So by all means, let's try to be the same, okay? This is not about politics. This is not about who you're aligned with. This is not about countries. It's not about nationality. This is about human beings. And when we can get past that now, the next thing we need to get to is animals and all life, and respect for all life, and respect for the gift that God gives us every single day to be alive. And let's use it to the maximum ability as much as possible for good. That's the whole purpose behind Superman. Superman is all about trying to, inspire people to do good. Okay, so let's try to do that today. One last thing I got to say, and I'm out of here for my channel. For the next person who's watching this video, thank you for watching. I would like it if you hit the like button, but if you don't hit the like button, it's okay as well. You don't have to agree with me. Everybody always feels that entertainment, and this has to do with Joe Manganiello, okay? Everybody always feels entertainment's a one-way street. It's a two-way street. Let me explain. So the entertainer, the person who entertains, whether you're an entertainer of your home, you invite guests into your home, or you're providing food for somebody, whatever it is, okay? The entertainment involves the entertainer, the person who gives of themselves and tries to give of their best. And then there's the receiver. The recipient who receives this entertainment, receives the gift from the entertainer. They can either be gracious or they can be crude and crass because they feel that the entertainer owes them something. It depends. But in hospitality, we've learned that even if the entertainer has tried his best and it came up short, the entertained or the potentially entertained should be gracious to them, understanding the hard work that went into it. And even though they may not have identified with the stuff, or it might have just been terrible, there's a certain amount of grace we must have. Because the two-way street is this. The entertained gives back to the entertainer either inspiration to go on or condemnation to deter them from trying to continue to entertain. Remember, it's always a process. And I think a lot of things particularly in show business, it can be a cruel thing because when you create something, your baby, right? And you finished, and it was all this hard work, 2, 3 years, 4 years went down the drain, right? And then somebody just in the stroke of a pen or in the stroke of a word recklessly cuts it down. Let us be a little bit more careful how we treat each other. Zack Snyder always says, "Be kind." That's actually that's a piece of scripture, right? I gave you guys once, and let's be considerate. It's a two-way street. It doesn't really work unless that both lanes. It's not just the entertainer giving you something, but you give back to the entertainer something. And yes, there are critics out there, and let's just remember that, okay? So for James Gunn's Suicide Squad, remember it took years and a lot of people, not just James Gunn, he just happened to be the director, who worked tirelessly to put this thing out there. Let's not just cut him down in the stroke of a pen. Zack Snyder, we've seen what happens with Zack Snyder and his labor of love to us, and we're very appreciative of it. So don't just trash somebody in their movie. Even though you may be able to be critical about aspects of the movie, don't just trash a movie, okay? Try to be as engaging and as understanding as it is. And even if it's confusing as hell, try to be gracious in how you put things forward. Just a word of advice I could possibly give to each and every fan, because a lot of times we get gluttonous. And we're like, it didn't fit my taste because we've been filled with a lot of food, getting food here and food. We got spoiled. So now I'm snubbing a guy who's giving me a meal. And we shouldn't do that. We're fans. Okay, so we're attracted to something else. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't snoot up your nose on somebody. If you may have accidentally ignored them, that's totally different. But don't snoot up your nose on them, would you? Just speaking from a content creator person's perspective. Because we also need love. You guys have a good one. Peace.